So you can see he's giving himself a little bit of space. Maybe stop right around the stick, Mike, so people can see. So you can see he's got a little bit of room here, right? We have a little bit of space. Being slightly outside, slightly inside is going to be okay. If we're way inside, we're actually going to be under that stick, okay? So that's a good reference point. Coach Tyler here with Coach Mike. We're going to be going through, are you in the right or wrong position in the backswing, where the club shaft is, and does it match what you're trying to do in the downswing? So you got to know this is going to really help you move your game forward. For the first tendency here, we're going to talk about how the upper body's moving the backswing. Start back, Mike. So the tendency here is if they hit end range and the club starts to move too far behind them, so the shaft is pointed, you can see it's almost pointed under his bicep here in his backswing, and we've created max range of his turn. So what's the option from that position, Mike? What's your body want to do from that position?
I mean, pretty much from there, your body's going to want to turn and give it a hit this way.
Yes.
A lot of times I can just kick the shaft on top and no fun.
Yeah, it's usually going to be steeper and a little bit more cutty, right, from that position. So show me the backswing now where we feel like the hands are lifting slightly more independent of the body. We're going to get the club shaft a little more vertical here, club face nice and neutral. So he's actually saved some rotation because he's let his hands go up.
Yeah.
So what can we do from that position if we're able to save a little bit of our upper body rotation?
From there, then you feel like you can let it fall this way a little more, get a better chance to hit a draw instead of having the force really kick out on you this way.
Yeah.
So in front, then I can use it.
Yeah, so that's going to let the club drop a lot behind. So show me that demo one more time. So he's here, and now start your downswing. What's going to happen? So you see how he's got that little bit of slack in his system. Do it one more time. So that slack, go ahead. So with momentum, that slack's going to let him work behind him. So show me the way where we hit sort of max range and the hands are a little bit deeper. So if he's over here, okay, so now he doesn't have as much slack, so go ahead and try to turn. So when he turns, there's no slack in this system, so I can really feel that club push into me. So really important if you're having a tough time hitting a draw, if you're hitting max range early, you're not gonna be able to sequence that downswing really well. So show me one where we do the right move for players that have this tendency. So now the hands, you can see they're up, and now go ahead and start down. So that club is really going to want to fall because there's way more slack. Give me a little demo and hit one there, Mike.
Yeah, so it feels in front of me, then falling behind me.
Yeah. So it's a lot easier to be...
Just a small one.
Yeah, baby draws or small draws with that movement versus the other one. We're definitely going to have a tough time drawing it if we're hitting end range. Okay, so that's the first tendency. This is great for players who have a tough time rotating their chest in the backswing but still want to hit a draw. Okay, so this is the opposite side in fault number 2. So fault number 2 here, this would be Mike actually getting the shaft too vertical. This is for players sometimes that are hitting, I would say, too much of a draw. You actually can go both ways depending on how you move and how your body reacts to this position. But if we're getting too much outside, so show me one where it's going quite a bit more outside. You're gonna see some players that function pretty well from this position, but you're also gonna see some players, because of the weight of the club, it might move too far behind you from that position. So their goal is, okay, I'm gonna keep the club more in front of me to help neutralize a draw or overhook, but it actually gets so far out. So show me one that goes so far out, Mike. So now for him, to get that back, your body's gonna wanna put it way more behind, and then that's getting the path a little bit too much inside. So if your tendency is to move too far that way, so if I'm standing here, so work that club pretty close to me as you go back. So now we got the hands a little bit more neutral on that takeaway, and then what's the downswing from there?
Then it kind of forces you to rotate and get more around the corner, around to on top.
Yeah, so that's for players that are overdrawing it because the shaft is getting too vertical in the backswing. I have seen it the other way, so maybe for a little less established player, a higher handicap, I might see it. So show me that backswing again where the club goes too far outside, and they don't have the tendency or understanding of where the club needs to be. So from that position, the odd time I see someone just go right over the top and hit a pretty big fade, but again, that would be more of a higher handicap. The good player who's overdrawing it, they'd get in that position and sometimes have to drop it too far under. So we'll neutralize that backswing. So again, if I'm standing right here, this is a good reference. So I'm right here, he's missing me as he goes back. And then that's gonna allow him to go from there and then move through impact in a little bit more of a neutral position, neutralizing that path and helping him hit straighter shots versus overhooks. So that's fault number 2. Again, established player, if it goes way too out, they might get it right in the right spot and be able to hit a draw, but sometimes that leads to overdraws, and tough to control that start line. Okay, fault number 3 here. This is a player that in their mind, they're just trying to keep the club as low as they can in the takeaway. Noble idea, but sometimes if it's done incorrectly, it can lead to a club position that's too far behind. So this is Mike, show me that takeaway where you're trying to keep the club as low as you can, as long as you can. Well, now you can see that that club position is gonna be almost under his hip when he goes back there. The club's gonna be pretty far behind him. So think about, I'm trying to hit that ball. How do you get that club back to that ball? What's your movement? You're gonna have to rotate super hard, or show me one where you just use your hands. How would you use your hands to get back to the ball? So that sometimes leads to a heavy hit, because I can see that it's just so low to the ground at this point and so around that it's gonna make him have to make a pretty big adjustment to get back to the ball. So now show me the same idea of a low takeaway, but just don't let it go inside the stick as you take it back. So you can see how that's a lot more neutral. Now from that position, how could you hit it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's see it. So he's able to deliver that club into the ball pretty easily, making it, giving him a chance to be successful, a little more consistent, using the same idea. Low takeaway is great. If it's low and then working way too far around you, you're gonna have to make an adjustment to get back to the ball. So we wanna make sure you understand that, and I'm gonna give you a drill now to help you address those different positions and how you can get better with it. Okay, here's a drill. Again, without knowing you specifically, it's hard to be really specific on what I'm gonna give you, because I really like teaching to what the player needs versus like a generic, oh, this is great for everyone. I'm doing my best here to address those 3 faults, okay? So if you had one of those faults, this is a drill that can help you address that specific fault, okay? So Mike's got a great system here, very similar to the Tommy Fleetwood setup when he's practicing. So we got swing plane perfector here. We got a box on the outside of his club. So the box is for, show me what the box would do, Mike. So
if I go too much on the outside,
so that would be swing fault number 2, right? Sort of picked up. And then show me swing fault number 3 where you keep it too low, too long. You can see he's actually to go too far inside of this stick that we have on the ground. So now show me where we're trying to go here. So you can see he's giving himself a little bit of space. Maybe stop right around the stick, Mike, so people can see. So you can see he's got a little bit of room here, right? We have a little bit of space. Being slightly outside, slightly inside is going to be okay. If we're way inside, we're actually going to be under that stick, okay? So that's a good reference point. And then we're just doing, so if you want to, why don't you wind up and hit one here, Mike?
Sure. So yeah, I just feel I'm just avoiding it and kind of following it.
So super helpful drill. Definitely can give you some feedback if you get out of position. Make sure you start slow because you don't want to smoke this stick. And what degrees is that set at, just so we can reference it?
Yeah, so this is my 7-iron. It's set up 58 degrees. That's pretty much the swing plane I swing at. The quick check is I go next to it. And I kind of see it's about the same angle as the club shaft that address.
So use that drill to help you get your game to the next level. Again, lots of ways to play this great game. We're trying to make it as easy as we can for you because it is a challenging game. We can use this reference. Mike's using a 7-iron here. We got this drill set up. Definitely a good one. Helps you check a couple boxes in that takeaway, gets you in a better spot, gets the shaft in a better spot halfway back, giving you more potential options to hit it solid, hit straighter shots. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this one helps you. I hope this helps you get your game to the next level.